So, I got a friend who was in amateur radio, he still is. He's a repeater guy around here, and I wanted to have that walkie-talkie with me, so I could call him. Of course, I left that in the room. So this is my third time trying to get out of this hotel. I think that lady's crazy over there. Okay. Can I finally just go to where I want to go? Yeah, this little area, because of the mall, has some traffic. And you gotta just go. Around Christmas, I recall this was a very unpleasant place as far as driving and traffic. Come on. All right, this road is heavily patrolled by cops, as I recall. It probably still is. Speed limit's 45. It was strictly enforced. Look at all the traffic down there. I guess it's all for this little mall thing here. Anyway, this was a go-to for my parents and myself back in the 70s and I guess late 60s was this mall. Oh, that's new up there. Reminds me of Seattle, whatever it is. So there's a huge Presbyterian church here, which has been here forever, which is gorgeous. And I recall when I lived here back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was a lot of mansions built back in there. So there's the beautiful church. If I can get it framed into the phone here. It's just like it always ever was. Boy, it's gorgeous. That's the beautiful church. That's been here forever. Get this tag out of the way. There we go. That's gorgeous. Very colonial looking, isn't it? You'd think you're like in... So it's called Westminster Presby Church. Been there forever. Beautiful. A lot of great homes up in here. Of course, the trees are obscuring everything. This is Upper St Clair. The trees here are gorgeous. And they're just growing like crazy. It's not Dallas, and it's not California. Here's Upper St Clair High School. Top tier high school. Look how beautiful the grounds are manicured. Wow, it looks like a brand new high school. Okay, so now this little dip's been here forever. I forget what this road's called down here, but this dip is kind of fun. I remember I took a Yamaha motorcycle screaming up here. A Yamaha RD350 that I bought from Dwayne Chifano or somebody. A two-stroker, and I had it cracked wide open and it was smoking out everybody behind me. I'm just amazed at how it's still country through here. Okay, and this bridge has been here forever. Overcross hasn't changed since the 70s. Looks like they put some rock protection on it so kids can't throw rocks in the cars or snowballs. Big radio tower up ahead, which I guess has been there. So I could go left and go that way, but I won't. That kind of sneaks around. I'd probably get lost. I know that will take me home, kind of, but the trees here are gorgeous. Hardwood trees, hardwood forest. So my parents, when they moved out here, this was the sticks. I mean, back in the late 50s, there was nothing out here. I think people thought they were insane. This on the left was called Fife's gas station, and there was a veterinary clinic here called Wonderlicks. And there's the vet clinic. It's now a real estate agency, which I think it should still be a vet clinic, but it's not. Coming up to Boyce Road here, and this is where I'll be turning left. A lot of traffic today. Well, I don't know what normal is here anymore, but it's got some traffic. And maybe it was always like this, I don't know. But check out all the trees around here. Okay, I just want to go left. I've probably taken this road thousands of times in the past. Boyce Road. If you take a right, that goes to 519 and it hits 79 eventually. I took that many times to the University of Pittsburgh because this road, 19, if you go the other way, if you go north, it will go down to downtown eventually through the Liberty Tunnel, Liberty Tube they call it, but I think there were 53 stoplights and that was really difficult. Plus, it didn't move. So what about the pickup truck thing going on? Like in Texas, it's all full of pickup trucks. Thank God there's not many pickup trucks here. SUVs, yes. I don't see many pickup trucks. There's a cop. Who's he gonna bust? Obviously somebody ran the red light. Yeah, like I said, this place is full of cops and they're all undercover. Do not run the red light. That was a pretty maroon cop car, that's for sure. Upper St Clair cops. Do they got cams running up here? Yes, they do. Very official intersection with big iron poles. It wasn't always that way. And this light takes forever. There we go. Alright, this kind of puts me back into sacred grounds here. This little shopping thing wasn't here before. This is Old Washington Road. There was a streetcar that went along here. Back in the 50s and early 60s, it was a streetcar. The tracks, I think, were over there. And it ran right through here. There's There's my friend Mark Fisher's house. He's gone. Long gone. These houses here have been here forever. Wow, look at the trees. And this sometimes would flood. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Now I go left because I can't go straight. It's a one-way. And this takes me back to the old days. This church was built back, I think, in the late 80s or early 80s. So this is Franklin Road I'm coming up on, which takes me back to where I grew up. So my friend Jim Mounts lives here, who I met on the radio. Wow, is that pretty? Jim's house is, let's go by Jim's house. It's right down here. So he was never real far from me. Looks like he's got stuff going on here. Hopefully not an ambulance. So that's my friend Jim's house right there. He might even be home. I'm not sure what this big ram is out here. Maybe somebody in his house needs a pickup. Anyway, I think this is called Jerry Drive. I'm going to turn around when I can safely. Boy, lots of yard stuff going on here. I don't think there's a lot of rain coming down here. Alright, this place looks good to turn around right here. Let's use this guy's driveway. Sorry, buddy. And here comes a car. He's gonna wait for me, thank you. I want to go back up Franklin Drive because that's how I did it for years. Yeah, this is really pretty. The trees are unbelievably huge. And there's a creek they kind of dammed up under a pipe that goes behind these houses and that floods a lot. That was a pretty big creek. I almost want to duck into this other neighborhood here because I don't really remember it. This neighborhood was built pretty much when I was leaving. This is one on the right. I wonder if I can duck in there real quick. This is more upscale homes. The homes that I grew up in were built in the late 50s. Yeah, these are probably sometime in the 80s, very early 80s, I think. I remember being very jealous when I saw these come in. I was like, oh God. But this is Upper St Clair, and this is how it is. Of course, the insides of these might be rather shabby by now, but you can't beat how these houses look on the outside. Brick. They even rival Dallas houses, of which I am very familiar. Oh my God, this house is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So these are half a mile from where I grew up, but they weren't present when I was growing up until I pretty much got out of school, and I'm not even sure where this road goes. Where does it go? It ends. let's do a little touring here. Beautiful road. Completely gorgeous. Gorgeous houses. So my friend Ray grew up in Swissvale, and he always thinks that I came from the slums or something, and I keep telling him Upper St Clair in the South Hills is not a slum. It's not Swissvale. It's not Braddock, PA. At any rate, I'm gonna finally meander up to where I grew up. I love that house, my God. That would be where I'd want to live, right there. This one, I'm not sure it's that great, but I mean, it looks nice, but I like the other one. This is more of the Tudor, the English looking chimneys. Like back in London town. All right. Let's head back up. Some guy towing a trailer with a Tesla. That's what somebody in Pittsburgh would do. Use a Tesla to haul a trailer around. That's goofy. Okay. Maybe it's practical, I don't know. All right, so in the wintertime, sometimes we couldn't make it up the street, and it was probably a half mile to walk up this thing. That's been there forever. This road's narrow, it's always been narrow. It's also a hell of a hill. So here we're ascending a massive hill which tops out at 1331 feet, and it was a good radio hill, as I had an amateur radio repeater system in my parents' backyard at one point, which was sold to Ralph Kreck. I guess he's dead now. I think that repeater went till 1985 or 2005, which I put it there in 83. This is sky view. I kind of want to just run down this thing real quick. So there was a big yellow house here, almost like a medical compound or hospital, and looks like it got knocked down and they put up this gorgeous house. That's wild. My friend Jeff Casey lived in one of these, and he moved away before we graduated. I think that was his house, Jeffrey Casey. There was a Robert Burton down here who was a friend of mine. They were Mormons from Utah or somewhere. I think that was his house right there, Robert Burton's house. And the Backners lived here, with Brian Backner or someone like that. I think that was Backner's house there. And this is a wicked hill down here. I think that was Backner's house there. I think that's Burton's house right there. Son of a gun. These houses aren't, they aren't worth much. I mean, they were put up in the 50s by, I think, Staley, who built all these. Anyway, I remember we were throwing rocks at a beehive in his woods, and a wasp nest was down here once. We were throwing rocks at it when we were kids, probably in 5th grade or something. All right, enough of this. I'm gonna try to now get up Franklin. This is Skyview. I used to ride mini bikes here. There were 2 kids with mini bikes who moved in here. They were real turkeys too. The heck was their names? They were kind of new who moved in. Then they moved out. So when you drive somewhere, it brings back memories. Anyway, this is Skyview. It's never been a real posh street. It is what it is. I think these houses were all built by the same builder that built my parents' house, Staley. So Staley, all of his houses, this was called Morella Manor back in the day, back in the late 50s. And Staley, I think, built all these little brick houses here. So now we're entering the old Morella Manor, and I think these are all Staley's houses here. These sold for like $5,000 in '61, I think. It was not like And 5,000 bucks, I think, was a lot of money back then. Maybe it was 9,000, but they didn't sell for much. So I had a paper route, and my paper route was all these houses. It was a pretty big paper route. So this is my old, I always loved this house. It's kind of an oddball, but these were all my customers. I think Chucky Haynes lived here. He was a real a-hole. He actually hit me with a motorcycle. And that's Chucky Haynes' house right there, where he grew up, and he was a real jerk. I think he became an electrical engineer somewhere. Didn't like him. Anyway, everyone that I knew here is probably long dead and gone. Long dead and gone. But this is the old hood. This is Schifano's house here. Dwayne Schifano. I'll see him at the reunion. That doesn't look too good anymore. Anyway, this house was by the Rentons, and they've always fixed their house up, and it looks like they've always extended it and made it look nice. This house on the right was owned by the Andersons, and no, it's not. That was Renton's house, I think. And I'm making people late. Come on around me. All right. Anderson's house there. This house on the right was Jones's house, and I used to cut this yard for $20, and this was a bear to cut. I think I had heat exhaustion there once. All right, Mr. Stump lived here. He was great. He taught me radios and tubes. He was really cool. And now we're hitting Locust Drive, where I grew up. I'm gonna run down the other end of it. I grew up there. This is the Fazio's house, or it was the Fazio's house. And this house here, it's like, what the hell? Is it abandoned? Wow, that's crazy. Or no, I guess they like weeds or something, I wonder. It sure seems abandoned. Yeah, I think it's abandoned. Holy crap. It must have mine subsidence or something. I think that was McLaughlin's house there. McGlone's house. Neil McGlone is dead. McGlass. I forget who lived there. The Pools. That's the Pools house. This guy was called Hartlip. He was old when I was a kid, so he would have died. Kilcary's house. This guy's a body shop. I think it still runs. This is the Flags house here. The Flags are long gone. Boy, it's all white now. Crazy. And this was Workmasters here, maybe? They were from Germany. The guy met his wife in Germany in the war, I think, or yeah. This house here was interesting. I remember cutting her grass once, and she gave me a car. I forget her name. She got divorced. And English's house, maybe? Anyway, these don't look like they're in great shape at all. English's house, I think. Cindy English lived there. I'm not sure who lived here. Nichols. This was Nichols' house. And this house is identical to the one I grew up in. It's the same floor plan. I'm not sure who lived here anymore. Not sure. And this was the McCart's house here. McCart's house, Fortner, the Fortner house. Shane Fortner and friends. So that about does it for the people that I served on the paper route. And these houses were all built, I don't know, I was still here, but these were newer houses made by Ryan Holmes. These were called Viewmont. And I'm gonna turn around here, I think. Go back up the street. Yeah, there always was a fence line up there that you could walk through. And there was a Mark Lash who had a huge farm up there. And that was always a cool farm. I remember I could go down through this field on a mini bike or a go-kart or a motorcycle and visit Mark Lash. I bought a tractor from him, a Porter cable tractor, and I was cutting the field a lot with it. So I'm heading up Locust again. I forget who lived there, but that was a paper route customer. All these houses look pretty shabby. They're not kept up well. Flake's house, yeah, it's painted. Hartlip's house, I guess that house isn't shabby really, it looks fine. McGlone's house looks fine. McLaughlin's house was always kind of shabby. Oh, they still got the big porch. So they had a porch that kind of caved in and blew away, and then they put up a new one. Look at that. That looks fine. Looks fine. That house is kept up. So they're mostly good. So this actually does have an outlet now, but they don't want people cutting through. Piano teacher lived there. This house I grew up in, 2771, and my mother sold it and got the house up the street. So, and the guy of course really refactored it. This is the Glusko's house here, which they also redid a lot. And this is the house I grew up in right here, 2779. And they've really changed this thing around. So I'm gonna park. I've always parked right here on the grass and see if it'll let me see the house. So that's what I'm gonna do. The driveway's not looking too good, is it? Wonder if I can turn around without getting run over. The Connell's house is over here. This guy was eccentric. He built a log cabin here, which he recreated from something. He was pretty eccentric. It looks like it's still very eccentric. Greg Connell, look at that cabin, it's a mess. And the old boat, Greg Connell, an old police car. Greg Connell may still live there, but who knows? Who knows who lives there? The house looks bad. And look how high this hill is. This hill is like so high. So this is down from my parents' house. I used to walk this hill a lot to visit my friend Ernie Jacobs. Ernie Jacobs lived in this richer neighborhood up on the hill. We were like the other side of the tracks here. Danny Gillo's house. That could be Danny Gillo, who knows? And anyway, Manor Way, this has been here. That house is new. Kim Geppert lived up there from my house. Looks like this house got knocked down and a new one put up. Who the heck lived there? Nice guy. He used to weld my go-kart. I can't remember what his name was. Rauscher, Mr. Rauscher lived there. Son of a gun. Wow, so that's a knockdown. This one is still the same. And the new neighborhood's down here. And there was a guy that worked in the steel business down through here that built one of these houses. He had lots of kids, and I was always jealous of this guy. Oh, it's for sale? Yeah, these aren't bad houses here. Anyway, he built some huge house down here. It looks like there's been a lot of houses built here. I wonder if this guy's Danny Gillo or not. Looks like they're redoing the whole house. That wouldn't be Dan Gillo. That's some workers. Wow. Alright, heading up this huge hill to my parents' house, I guess. My old house. That's a new house that wasn't there. That house, I forget who lived there now. Alright, here I am. That telephone pole's always been there. We had a dogwood tree there. It looks like the dogwood tree might still be there. It's the only survivor is the dogwood tree. Yeah, it looks like it's still, the little dogwood tree's there. There's a big one. Looks like they cut it down. Alright, I'm gonna park and go up here and see if I can see the house. Wish me luck.